Good day, this is Chuck Daughtry, owner of CopperCoins.com. Going to take you through a little exercise where I'm looking to grade coins that were returned from NGC to see if perhaps they missed something and should have graded the coin. Sent these in a bulk, and the bulk came back, and there were 35 coins ungraded. This is 10 of those 35 coins that remained ungraded out of 200 and something submitted. Now, my minimum grade on this submission was a 66, which means that all of the coins that they returned ungraded, they believe grade below 66. Here's my first one. It's a 1939 S. This coin has just a little bit of a shadow of brown color, so it would be a red-brown coin, but I don't see why it couldn't be a 66 red-brown. And the color is actually quite attractive. The luster is very nice. I don't see any particular heavy marks anywhere. The weakness in the rim just below the L of Liberty is from a rim clip. Slight, very, very slight, incomplete planchet that just kept the rim from filling in as much of the cavity between the color and the die as it generally should. Not even enough to not show, for it to show on the reverse. Looking at the reverse, I see a little bit of brownness up by unum. Loss of luster up there just a little bit. This coin could return questionable enough not to go 66, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a no on this and keep this in inventory. So this is 1939 S, no. And we'll put it in a flip. I'm putting these coins in flips as I go along, and I'm numbering them so that you can comment down below and I'll know exactly which coin you're talking about. This was coin number 1. So this is group number 4, coin number 1. And here is group number 4, coin number 2. Let me get this. You get a little soft. Now, when I'm going to use a Q-tip on coins, I don't use it as it came from the factory. I actually will pick at it and make it much larger and softer than it would come from the factory, so that I can just very gently brush across the surface of a coin to remove hairs and other things. So I've picked this apart, and that hair right up here, I believe that's a hair, and so I'm just going to brush it very lightly, and it came right off the coin. There we go. Now back to the coin. This one has a dark spot down at the 7 o'clock position just behind the shoulder, and that entire area down there is toned down just a little bit. Plus we have a relatively heavy, what is this? I believe that could be a mark on the coin. It actually looks more like a die imperfection below the S of trust. I believe that's die gouges. It doesn't look like an imperfection on the coin itself. It looks like it came from the die, which, if they're really watching and if they're really looking, that should not affect the grade of the coin, because the coin was as struck by the die. As struck by the die could conceivably gain a 70 grade. Okay, we have appears to be a scratch that I did not see. I believe that's a scratch, and another little pair of scratches, but the one I'm really more concerned about is the one that drops to the southeast from the E of 1. We have another hit next to the C of cent, so this one won't be going back in. It's a beautiful coin. It has very bright luster, very beautiful color and very bright luster, but it's not going to go back. Just not high enough of a grade. It is a 66 coin, but it's just, it's not enough Just not enough to press my luck on it. So that one is going to garner a no from Chuck the Refinalizer. Just in case you haven't seen any of the other videos and wonder why is he grabbing these coins with his bare fingers, well, I gave my hands a very thorough washing with antibacterial soap prior to this show, and there is nothing on my hands to transfer to the coins. A little bit of a lack of luster on this 1940 plane. This will be coin number 3. So it's group number 4, coin number 3. And it just has a general slight lack of luster. It has a general slight amount of, I call it modeling, where you get little tiny scratches that don't really show in the coin. It's just imperfections in the luster created by bumps against other coins and bags and things. Then you got some darker spots, just a few of them. I see 4 complete and right off the bat. One under the G of God, one under the R of Trust, and then 2 in the direction of 3 o'clock from the nose, directly east of the nose, one halfway through and one almost to the rim. And those spots are enough, along with the chatter in the field and the general slight lack of luster, to keep this from grading high. The reverse on this one's very nice. Really isn't anything on the reverse other than just a very, very slight impedance of luster along the right-hand edge of the design through the wheat on the right side. You can see how the light doesn't reflect well over there. You can see I can't get the light to reflect in that area, but it does right here. But if I tip it over this way and get it to reflect along that arc along the outside edge, it won't do it. That could be enough to take it out of a high grade. So this is a 1940 plane. This one's going to be coin number 3, and it will be a no return. If you are interested by any chance in purchasing any of these coins, you can contact me, and I will let you know my rather nominal price for these coins. All right, coin number 4. Well, this one's right off the bat pretty bright. This is a 1941 D. That spot above the date is visible with the naked eye. I think I just gave this one a shot and a chance because it was a 41D. I like it, but I don't think I like it enough to return it. Just by looking at what I've seen so far. There's a dark spot to the right of the 1 of the date, the last 1 of the date. There's a dark spot right behind the shoulder. There are just a few minor imperfections with hits and scratches in the field. And then that one larger spot that's visible to the naked eye above the 9 and the date. I can see what looks like a hit mark. Here, I've got it in a dark area. It's right above the ER of Liberty, up about halfway toward the N. That's visible with the naked eye, just looking at the coin. All that it is enough as a group of issues to pull it out of a high grade. Generally, this would make a 66 grade, even with that gash on the C in cent. You've got just a few spots and a few gashes here and there and a few little marks and other things. If the obverse were really clean, this would make a 66, but given that the obverse and the reverse have little issues, there's enough little issues that I'm not going to try to send it back. So this is a 41D. And it's going to be a no. That is group 4, coin 4. Almost halfway through this group. Here is group 4, coin number 5. And group 4, coin number 5 is another 1941D. And, well, I think this was kind of a throw it against the wall and see if it sticks type thing. There is a number of real little tiny imperfections all around. It's generally a nice coin. It looks very nice if you just look at it. Oh, but there's a big spot on the head that I didn't see. Above and to the left of the ear, toward the G of God, there is a pretty large spot that under my bright lights I can see. Perhaps I should select coins under bright light. That might help me. That's a general rule of grading. You should do it under bright light, at least 100 watts worth of light. And this is pretty much 100 watts worth of light. I have 2 desk lamps that are LED above a Dynalite scope that is also shining its own light. I have these turned to the more blue light switch, or the light setting. So this 41D, coin 5 out of group number 4, is not going to go back. It just doesn't have the quality that I'd be looking for to argue with a grading company. And basically that's what you're doing if you send a coin back, is you're arguing with them because, well, they've already sent it back and said no. So you have to send it back to them again and say, make them look at it. Now, the obverse of this coin, although it has some very minor imperfections here and there, does have a little bit of color. You can see the pinkish color on this coin. And it is nice and bright. It might have too much rub on the cheek and on the jawline. You can see how it gets really shiny on the cheek and the jawline. And that high point along the front of the collar. That could be enough to say, hey, this coin has had some issues. Let's see what the reverse looks like. See if it's clean enough. Well, we have some rather big issues with the reverse. So for that reason alone, I think I would keep this out of a resubmission box. It's a beautiful coin, though. It's very nice, 1942. But just not enough. That's coin 6 out of group 4. So group 4 coin 6. And I'm going to mark it up here, 1942. P. And no, don't send that one back. Almost looks like something I should send back, but then you get to looking at it a little bit better. And you see what they saw. Okay, here's a 1944D. 1944D. And this one has a black spot right in the middle of the cheek. And you got one in the hair above the ear. Not really seeing anything else. That mark below the T is not... It's not too distracting. Okay, there's a little bit of a hint of a scratch running north and south in that area of the field, and a little hit right along the top of the lapel below the bow tie. You can see a little dig right there in the front of the coat. All these are little things. You add them together and they spell yes, send it, or no, don't. And if you've got 5 or 6 of those little things on the obverse and your reverse is real clean, then yeah, maybe. But this is pretty much a no-go here. I think this one I was just spitballing. There's a number of minor issues, but a lot of them on the reverse. Too many little dots to count. So, yeah. Our luster is very slightly impeded, but it's all those little tiny black spots that are going to keep that out of a high-grade holder. So that one's going to be a 1944D. It's coin number 7 out of lot number 4. And we're going to say no on that one, of course. There we go. Let me get this flip insert put in here so I can keep these in some order. Organization is not my strong suit. Here's coin number 8 out of group 4. I'm going to tell you right now, just looking at it, it's not going anywhere. I'm not sure what I'm thinking sending coins like this in. This is a 65 at best. Yeah, just not a great coin. I see a black spot on the E. See a black spot below the M. A general impedance of luster. Now, your luster is one of your most important things about getting a high grade. You can have marks on a coin, but if you have extremely bright, beautiful luster, it can still grade a top grade. If your luster is impeded, you're going to have a really hard time getting it in a top grade holder. So that's a 44D, and that's a definite no. So that's coin 8 in group 4. Got 2 coins left, and then we'll be done. And I'll have to wait for my next submission to come back in order for us to do this again. Here is one that, well, these things, I send these in even if there's a chance, because a 46, a 1946, and a 67 holder is well above $600. And if I get a shiny one, I send it. But this one, not sure where I got that from. Pretty big spots. Let's check the reverse on this one. Nice strong strike. But that what looks like a golf swing divot coming out of the rim at UR and Pluribus is enough to pretty much relegate this to a 65 holder at best. So I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me on this one, but that is coin 9 in group number 4. It is a 1946 Philadelphia. I think what I'll do for the next video is to do a grading pick, where I'm picking coins to send them in. Here's my last coin out of this particular submission that did not grade a 66 or higher. You can kind of see it. You got color on the coat, got color on the collar, color on the collar, and then you got 3 spots up and down on the throat, the cheek, and the forehead. Actually 4 spots, because there's one up in the hair too. There's a rather large hit right on the ear. And I think I can turn the coin and show that better. There we go. Big cut in the ear. Looks like a big dangly earring coming straight out of the tragus of the ear. And so that one's going to be a no, I'm pretty sure. Now the reverse, I can see a couple of spots naked eye. I saw the one between the O and the N, and I saw the one below the M in America, just right off. It is a gem coin. It is not a gradable coin. Not at 66 or better. Now 65 in this is like a $21 coin, but the problem is you're going to pay more than that to have it graded. All right, so there we go. That's it for that group. This is group 4, coin number 10. I appreciate you watching, and next time I get a submission back that has ungraded coins, we'll do this again. Be well.